Good afternoon, everybody. Well, what the heck happened today? What is going on in the markets today? Because that is pretty bananas. It's exciting to be here with you today, and welcome. Good afternoon. Just a quick hello as I put my glasses on here today for you. Thank you for, let's get the button up there a little more professional. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me this afternoon. We're going to look at markets here today using a filter of predictive time, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. But let's see what we were in for here this afternoon. There are two programs available for customers that are trading, whether you're trading futures, forex, equities, or crypto. We have the version for TradingView called Kronos, and then we have the version for Time Warp, Ninjatrader, called Time Warp. How many of you here today are TradingView people, and how many of you here are Ninjatrader people? If you wouldn't mind, just share real quick who you are, so I have a sense of what we're looking at here today and how to appropriate our time. Hello, Megan. Hello, Megan. Megan with your crazy Euro USD on a 30 time frame, doing all your weird stuff over there. Cool. All right. Hey, Earl. Hey, Scott. Hey, Tom. No, Bob, I'm not going to go over that here. This is the demonstration for Kronos and Time Warp. And so, yeah, and Bob, I show that in the live trading room in the morning. I'm showing it to the advanced trading room customers. Are you in my room? That's where I show it live. Yeah. No one comes to the room, which is weird, because that's where I show all the things. And then they say, you never show the things. So Tom, does it work with NQ? Okay. Well, let's take a quick peek, and then we'll come back and look at a few things here together. So Tom, the premise of the program is that we can go back and look for times historically lately where the market you trade is likely to go up or down. Do you understand that concept? We're looking for times in the past where markets are likely to go up or down over and over and over again. And so if that time is important, the program will print a signal over on the right-hand side of the chart. So Tom, if you see the signal here at 621 and 643 and 702, those are times in the past where the market has historically gone down. And there's a pretty good chance, about a 60% chance, that they'll go down at that point in the future. And then all the lines on the bottom of the chart are times where the market is supposed to or likely to go up in the future, because that's what's been happening lately across the last several weeks. And the program finds those times. So here's the neat part. When you ask, does it work on the NQ, we have to prove it, right? Because it's all talk, no walk if we can't prove it. And so we post an internal memo that's dated, and you can see here 3 days ago was the date of publishing. And you'll see May 12th, 2025. So Tom, can you see that? This chart was published 3 days ago, May 12th, Bazinga. And what we can see is that 3 days ago, these are the times that the software found as having a tendency to go up or go down more often than not. Now that's weird because everything in the world right now has some form of a random element to it, right? There's no rhyme or reason to it. Stuff's happening left and right, going up and down. Somebody gets a plane, a building blows up, a pirate gets shot. There's a new trade agreement. There's a tariff. There's no tariff. There's some tariffs. There's more tariffs. There's less tariffs. There's clearly no rhyme or reason to the market. And yet, when we look at this chart, this is the farthest we can get from those histograms 3 days ago. So these times were literally for 3 days ago for today, which is Thursday. I saved $500 on my car insurance. And so the further we get from 3 days ago, Tom, the less and less likely these times should work, right? The less and less likely those times should work. Okay, now here's the reason people buy the software and give us 5-star reviews. When you compare those times, as I'm about to show you here, a freakish thing happened. 107, 1231, 1231, 107, 140, 140, 1245, 1245, 124, 124, 154, 154. Tom, are the times that are on my screen live today the times that we've been waiting for 3 days? Yes or no? Or have I? Okay, cool. Now that's important because if I don't establish credibility with you at this point in the webinar, then it's all crap. None of it means anything. So the next question you asked is, does it work on the NQ? And I prefer to answer it this way. Did the markets go up and down at these times 3 days later? Meaning when we were expecting a move at a certain time, did the move occur or did it not occur? All right, so let me push these histograms down. And it's never going to be 100%, right, bro? It's never going to be 100%, but boy, it sure looks like it's more than 50%. And this is the market that all of you chose to destroy your lives with. And I'm going to even put this 336 signal here because there was a fish hook, there was a pivot, and I'm going to count that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10 out of 12, 13, 10 out of 12 looks like that move occurred in the afternoon. And then as we get closer to the morning, it feels like those same things are kind of happening. And then we can go back into the pre-market. And now we can go back and even look at yesterday, because the times yesterday were also published in advance. Okay. So yeah, it works on the NQ. 100%. Let's take a look at some other markets that we gave out predictive times for. I'm just going to work my way around the horn. Tom, did it work for the euro currency futures this morning on a 3-minute chart? I'm just going to kind of go around. Did the times we were waiting for stuff to happen 3 days ago on the euro currency actually take place? Yeah. Well, that's kind of bananas. Cool. Well, they had a plan for that. Let's take a look at gold on a 5-minute chart. And gold is fun. Ever since Costco got involved, right? There's the Euro session, the Asian session, and the US session. Now, Tom, while I'm here, I want to mention 2 setups that I teach. They're in the same page as the internal memo. And I want you to see that there, because there's a difference between a raw signal and a setup. Where are our stops? Where are our targets? So right here it says, hey, we'll be showing how you can use the signals with one of 2 simple entry rules called signal with trend or the puncture trade. And then there's a short video that describes it. What is the signal with trend and what is the puncture trade? Well, on our chart for the last 15 years now, this poor little moving average is a 120 period EMA. It's a pretty stark looking chart, right? There's not a lot on here. And I think that's one of the keys to success for trading, is to not have too much stuff. When you have too much stuff, you talk yourself out of the good things. Now, we're looking for signals in the direction of the trend. So Tom, I want to pay attention at 6:15. I'm going to say your name a lot because I haven't said anybody else's name in a little while. We're going to look at a signal at 8:05. We're going to look at the signal at 10:25. We're going to look at the signal at 11:50. We're going to look at the signal at 1:40, because these are all signals with trend, SWT. The trend is going up. It's a time where we're expecting banks to maybe push higher again. Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough. So if we're asking them to see if they're going to do it again, we're waiting in a line. And then everything, Tom, that has a beginning has an end. So if it starts at 6:15, it potentially ends at 6:55. If it starts at 8:05, it potentially ends at 9:25, and so on. So these are times that have windows. There's a start, there's a direction, there's a stop. So if we trade at 6:15, we can enter at the close of the candle, and we have to be out by the close of the window at 6:55. Our stop is a dynamic stop that can be fixed, but here I have my stop set 1.5 average true range values away. Now, one of the reasons why people use Renkos is because they're trying to filter out all the noise. They're trying to organize the information with a Renko bar, a range bar, a tick bar, a Heikin-Ashi bar, Ikimochu clouds, Cherry Garcia candles, anything they can to sort of make sense of this chaos. And when we look at it this way, Tom, it's more like a departure and arrival schedule for an airport. And now we need to have some way of knowing if all hell has broken loose and the whole thing is falling apart. And so we put that stop 1.5 ATR values away. And so in the case of gold, we combat these issues that are common with traders. I don't know when to get in. I don't hold it long enough. My stops get moved. And we're like, look, there's a window. It starts and it stops. It starts and it stops. Okay, with me so far? Those are signals with trend. Those are signals with trend. And so this combats a few of the things that people really genuinely struggle with. Number one, overtrading. You can't overtrade if there's a schedule. You can't overtrade if there's a schedule. If you were pretty sure something is going to happen at a certain point in time, if you trade 32 times in the 20 minutes before the next signal, that's on you. But now there's a metric to measure by. There were 10 opportunities, 5 of them were with trend. I traded 322 times, that's on me. And now you're moving towards a goalpost every day, fewer and fewer trades. Number two, most of the time the trades should work in your direction, in your favor. So your stops don't have to be ginormous. I found one of those marketing ads on Facebook where the guy said, if you only trade for 4 ticks a day, Earl, that's $50. And if you have 50 contracts, I was like, how is it still legal to say stupid things to new traders? And apparently it is. But you can keep your stop about a bar away from the candle, so you don't get hit by market noise, smaller stops. And then number 3, you have a reason to stay in the trade longer because there's a window. There is something on the radar screen that says this thing has an expiration date. It's like a container of milk that says drink by May 30th. Imagine going to the grocery store and you buy milk, if you buy milk, and there's no expiration dates on any of the food. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I better eat it all right away. I'm going to drink all this milk before I go to bed. No. Okay. Now the next setup is called a puncture. These times represent, Tom, selling behavior patterns. These times represent times historically where somebody stepped in with a big stick and said, we're shorting now. Enough times in the last several weeks that the program found it and went, okay. So the only enemy to a long in an uptrend are people who are shorting. And so one way to know if people aren't shorting anymore is to see if they go through the stops of the short signal times. You with me? If we go through the stop of a sell signal, a failed sell signal equals a buy signal. A failed sell signal equals a buy signal. It's like a double negative. It's a failure in our favor. It's like walking into a bank and going, there are no guards in this bank. I can rob this bank. There's 38 senior citizens and a lady who's complaining about the coffee being cold. No guards. Let's rob this place. And if I get to the stop level of a sell signal in the direction of an uptrend, that means there's no sellers at a time where there usually are. Okay, so how do we deal with that? Well, we wait for the candle to puncture that line. So the minute it goes through that blue dot, I have a buy stop sitting there. Where is my stop? It's below the candle that punctured the line. And how long do I hold it for? Until the close of the next signal. And here, not an impressive run. We basically break open at 3208.9 and we finish about 7 ticks higher. This puncture here, Tom, we break through at 1120. The 1050 signal stop is triggered. No guards. Boop, 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 boop. We only got 12 ticks out of that one. I'll put that over there somewhere. And then here's this puncture. We actually make it through, and then Megan, it comes right back down under that stop. So not really a lot of stuff going on here. This puncture goes through, it comes right back, it hits the stop, minus 13, and then boink, right back through. The stop goes below this candle, and now you're up about $10. Over this morning in the London session, you break through the blue line at 5:15. Your stop is below that candle. It never hits the stop. And Tom, you finish by 6:15. So you have these windows of time. Can you trail it the whole way up? Sure. Can you keep that contract running higher and higher and just move your stops higher and higher? 100%. But for the purpose of the simplest exercise to demonstrate on a Thursday, long winner, no puncture. Long winner, no puncture. Puncture winner, long loser. puncture winner, long winner, puncture failure, long winner, puncture failure, puncture winner. And you know when. You know when. You know when in advance. And guess what? They have a plan for gold all the time. These were the signals yesterday. Short out, puncture out, short out, no puncture, short out, short, small loss, womp womp. Short, almost, loss, womp womp. Puncture, small win, short, small loss, womp womp. Puncture, win, and then loss. That's a pretty good day across 2 days worth of signals, right, Tom? Okay. And it's not just yesterday and today. Now that you know these signals are real, look, they keep doing it. They keep telegraphing in the future when they're going to probably do something again. Here's the day before. Oh my gosh. Let me go back to the US session before that. There's the day before that. Boy, it sure looks like their algorithms have a plan. Okay, so that's gold, euro currency, NASDAQ. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is the market that I love because apparently if you have oil where you live, you can just give people stuff like jets. And it doesn't matter if you fund state-sponsored terrorism. You get a defense deal. You get a defense deal. You get a defense deal. Price of oil was getting pretty low there for a while. It's still pretty low for where we're at. Tells you a lot about what people think the economy is going to do next. But look, what happened at 551? What happened at 657? What happened at 724? Here's the congestion area where the signals are all pumped together. 8:33 until when? 8:51 this morning. Boom. It was supposed to go up at 8:51. When were we looking for a move down, Tom? On oil 3 days ago, here. When were we looking for another move up? Around 11:09. When were we looking for another move down? 11:51. And then the failure at 12:42. How do we know that these times are real? Well, this is what I do for 16 years. You come here, you go Thursday, CL 3 minute, and then this thing that was printed 3 days ago has the same times as this chart 3 days later. And if we go backwards to yesterday, same thing. Same thing. When does oil open? 9 o'clock. What happened at 9:12? What happened at 10 o'clock? No bueno here. What happened at 10:33 at the oil inventory report yesterday? Did you know yesterday was the oil inventory report? Here's what'll blow your mind. There was a big economic report yesterday. They measure how much oil everybody has. You're not supposed to know what the results of that is going to be. They had 3.5 million extra surplus. They were expecting negative 2.5 million deficit. So if there's too much oil, what happens to the price of oil? If there's too much of something, what happens to the price? Does it go up or go down? How do we know what the report's going to be 3 days before the report? Tom? Unless they had a plan. Because you and I both saw that chart was 3 days old with the estimates, with those behavior patterns, down from 10:33 until when? 10:54. Whee! Down at 11.21, up at 12.12. Boy, it would be nice to know those things in advance. And guess what? It happens every day in oil. Every day. Go back and look at the prior day. Was that day any different? What if you traded signals with trend on Tuesday and punctures Tuesday? Well, let's take a look. Long, end of the window, get out, plus 30. No puncture. Long, end of the window, womp womp, minus 4. No puncture. Long at 9.51, out at the end of the window, plus 24. No puncture. Long at 10.48, out at the end of the window, plus 53. 11.48, long, where's my stop? Under this candle. Under the ice pick that breaks through the line. How long do I hold it? Till 12.57, plus 24. Long from 12.57 until 1:39. Womp womp, minus 3. No puncture. Could you get used to that every day? Bearing in mind they're not all winners. They're not all fantastical days, but when the days do come, you make hay when the sun is shining. Oil, the thing we're told is the most random thing in the universe, is not the most random thing in the universe. There is a plan for it. There is a coordinated plan. I think. It's my opinion. I could be wrong. Let's take a look at the mini Dow on the 3-minute chart. Now remember, when did we publish the times? When will the CEO of TechSmith in a federal court on pain of contempt of court and perjury swear to us that these pixels were placed 3 days ago? 9:33, 10:36, 9:54, 10:57. 9:54, 10:57, 9:33, 10:36. Now, doesn't it look like there was an algorithm that was programmed days in advance? Someone programmed something to do the things 3 days beforehand, at least, on the YM 3-minute. 3 days later, you can almost hear the timer go off at each signal, right? Holy cow. It looks like I put the signals in by hand. And the best part is I don't have to do the guru garbage. I don't have to do the guru dance. I don't have to tell you what my superior intellect would have done, or after 58 years, I was in Soviet Gulag reading world's best trading books, and now I can pass along my secrets to you. All you need to do is give me $20,000 and you can watch me trade in my living room. I make you peanut butter sandwich while you watch me. Like the guru thing, like the age of the guru is over. Nobody's buying it. And the program is just saying, look, we're going to leverage data like AI. We're going to assume the game is rigged, and we're going to watch and see what's about to happen. Now, let's look at different markets and time frames, right? Because here's gold on a daily time frame. And we've been looking at these signals now for quite a while. We've been watching them since September. And what almost always happens at a white dot on the daily chart for gold? That's right, it goes up. What signal are we at right now? No guarantees, but holy Moses, what are we looking at? We're looking at that. Well, what happened at the other that's? This, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and that. So how far is it likely to go by May 30th? Because that's the next signal. I've been showing you these signals for 6-8 months now. I have the signals, Tom, through February of next year, which means these signals are all 6 months old. Well, we can measure and see how far the moves went at each one of these signals. So from the high of the 1015 candle, how high did it go? And we'll just do this for all of them and get a sense of what the exertion is at these times. From here to here, there to there, there to there, from there to there, and there to there. Now, Earl, what can I do? Pick them like a blueberry. Let me get one more. And inevitably, something pops up, a max, a min, and a median. So I'm going to put that arrow and all of his buddies over here. And I'm going to get a sense of how far banks move when they move. I can't get that little guy. I'm going to come back for him. And is anyone starting to notice where the max, the min, and the median are? Always happens. Every time I do it, there's a median, a maximum, and a minimum. So by May 30th, what am I expecting? I'm expecting at the very least gold to go to 3,313. I'm expecting a median somewhere between 3,340 and 3,370. And then a maximum by May 30th, somewhere approximating the prior highs between 3430 and 3480. A minimum, a mini mouse, a median, and a maximum. Doesn't that seem like a more relaxed way to trade? I assume the game is rigged. I assume it. I assume it's rigged. I watched a video of a guy. He went to a casino. He played blackjack. He won $40,000. They asked him to leave because they thought he was counting cards. He picked up his chips. He went to the window and he handed the chips to the teller. And then a guy came over and told the teller, don't give him his chips or his money, which is illegal. It's illegal. It's stealing. He had the chips as soon as they passed the table from one side to the other. $40,000 was his. And the casino said, try and get it back. That's all this is, except these casino owners fund campaigns. These casino owners get TARP money. These casino owners make things called tranches, which have crappy mortgages bundled with really smelly mortgages, wrapped up in an enchilada of unbelievably horrible mortgages, and short the market while they're selling them to people who can't read, don't have a job, and just immigrated here. Those are the people who are counting cards, and it's time. They're telling you this is what we're getting ready to do. Now it's just a calculation of risk. Just a calculation of risk. And if we look at other markets, like Megan, if we go look at the euro US dollar, man, it's not much different, is it? Boy, it sure looks like there was a plan. And look on the right. There's the game. There's the dance steps. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 3, 4, cha-cha-cha. Let's go ahead and connect to our cryptocurrency, because you wiener dogs are out there 100xing your investments. And so BTC USD, woohoo! I told you about the May 10th signal, I told you about the April 10th signal, and I told you about the May 1st signal. How random is cryptocurrency right now? When's the next push? Right here. How long does the push last? I've been showing these times for a year in the webinars. Lasts until May 29th. Guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a mysterious announcement. President Trump's going to be on a stage, and all of his buddies have been loading up. Everybody's buddies. It's not him. It's all of them. It's the Pelosi's and the Marjorie Taylor Greens. It's the Hunter Bidens and the other Trump son. Both of the cocaine brothers. They're all in on it. And there's going to be an announcement. And he's going to look over and go, look, I've been talking it over with the guys, and we're going to have a new American currency, and it's going to track with the Bitcoin. People love the Bitcoin. People coming up to me yesterday and said, Mr. Trump, I was crying yesterday because of how much you love the Bitcoin. And it's going to go, whee, potentially. Just like it did over here, and just like it did over here. And I'm sorry if that impersonation offended you. He is the president. He does deserve a modicum of respect. But you've seen him do it. You watched him do it. There's no tariffs. Maybe there's some tariffs. Thinking about cutting them in half. Maybe not. Years from now, when the data comes back and we see how much people benefited from those seemingly random announcements, if there's a God in heaven, there'll be an investigation that shows who knew what. And someone's going to jail. The same way everyone in Elon Musk's family seems to know when the price of the stock's going to go up or down. So, doesn't help to know those. It helps to know those signals in advance. We can come here. Speaking of crazy pants, let's see if it loads up. My computer sometimes does or doesn't use Tesla very well. I'm going to get rid of that and see if I can open a new chart from scratch. That was a pretty good Trump impersonation. I thought I nailed that one. Yeah, it's not loading Tesla. Okay. Here's Microsoft. Now we can do it. We'll use a different stock. I lost my mojo there. Huh. Okay. Oh, it's just, Ninjatrader's having an issue loading the historical data. I'm sorry. Let's go look over on TradingView. We've spent enough time on NinjaTrader. We can do that. We'll go look at Tesla on TradingView on a daily time frame. And Megan, I'm going to go back to a single chart here. We'll load ES on a daily. And now we'll load Tesla. There we go. Oh, cool. What is it telling me to look for with Tesla now on May 15th? What is it telling me? It's telling me short from May 15th until June 6th. Okay. What else can we look at? Let's look at most liquid stocks by volume. Tesla, how about NVIDIA? Let's take a look at NVDA. There you go. Look at all of those beautiful semiconductor stocks. Long from May 13th until May 27th. Gotta love it. A lot of chips in the new plane. So, yeah, you can have calls now from May 13th until May 27th. Who else is in there? Amazon, Palantir, they're always a hoot. Take a look at Amazon. They already had their reversal on the 13th. So long from April 22nd until May 13th, puts from May 13th until May 27th. Bump, 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 bump. Intel. Intel says short until May 19th. Now, Tom, can I show you something kind of cool? I think it's kind of cool. There is a phenomenon in time where the signals invert. There's a handout that I've got for you. If you said Intel and we were looking at this, here's what I would teach you. I would say, Tom, look at what happened on that signal. Look at what happened on this signal. And then look at what happened on this signal, and then this signal, and then this signal, and then this signal, and then this signal. Tom, what are all the signals doing lately on Intel? They are, as my father would affectionately refer to them, as bass backwards. They're reversed. And there's actually a phenomenon in the guidebook called reverse polarity. And this happens right before trend changes. So when is the market likely to go down on Intel? Right here, May 19th. What am I going to watch for then? Well, you can check out this channel here, and you can look for a breakout of it. Let's do something like that. May 19th, look for a close below that channel, a retest, and now a drop until May 27th. This is a little more advanced, but I think you can handle it. You knew what a wrinkle bar was. Palantir, PLTR, PLTR. Oh, there we go. What are we supposed to be doing with Palantir right now? What did they just do on Palantir, Earl? What did those manipulators just do? They said, hey, you see that stop right there? Right at the sell time, we're going to drive right through those stops, and when everyone's getting nice and happy about their longs, we're going to trip them all out. This is a stop run. May 13th is puts until May 27th in Palantir. The last call was from November 26th until February 11th. It was from February 11th until April 24th, and then from April 24th until May 13th. Bastardos! Yeah, so it works for that stuff, right? If you're a cryptocurrency guy, here's Dogecoin, right? Same stuff. You can look at, speaking of, pull up my chart with the beautiful Trump coin. Pull it up. Load a 4-hour chart on there. Show everybody. It's so beautiful, the crypto. Here's Trump coin on a 4-hour chart. And you'd be like, there's no way that's following predictive patterns. Uh-huh. Yes, sir. You want to make money? You want to be one of the 3 people who makes money buying and selling Trump coin? There's your answer key. It's pretty obvious. And then you can look at currency pairs like Megan does. And here's the euro US dollar on a 4-hour chart. Right? And it's doing the same thing. And on the right-hand side, it's telling me when to wait for the next signals. It's telling me when to wait for the next signals. Any questions about this? Any questions about that? So when we look at a market like the E-mini S&P, right, and I'm posting those signals into the room, let me turn this off. What are we doing? I had a customer send me a text today, said, your software doesn't work. I said, well, what are you doing? Didn't get an answer. And I pulled up the chart and I said, did you go long from 9:20 until 10:35? Did you go long from 11 o'clock until 11:20? Did you take the puncture from here to here and basically break even? Did you go long from 12:20 until 1:10? Did you go long and get stopped out right there? Right? No punctures. 1625 minus 8, that's a plus $17 day. $17 times $50 a contract equals $850, or $85 if you trade micros. Hypothetical, of course, right? But still, how does this work? And why does it look as good as it does if there's no plan? And was it just a one-day fluke, or did it happen yesterday? There's yesterday, Tom. Now, again, just so you know, you shouldn't believe me. I'm going to come here and I'm going to scroll back to Wednesday, E-mini S&P 5-minute chart. And there it is, written in electronic indelible ink 3 days ago. 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. 6:20, 6:20. 8:15, 8:15, and on and on and on. These were the times that were published, like writing a self-addressed stamped envelope to yourself. People, when they wrote songs and plays, they would send themselves a copy in the mail because it was postscripted on a certain date. You ever hear that? If you want to prove that you had something before somebody else, you mail it to yourself. And the postscript, is that what it's called? Had a certain date on it. These forecasts were known 3 days ago, before postmark. Thank you, John. They were postmarked 3 days ago. And when we got to Wednesday's market, look what happened. Please, someone who's about to not buy the software, please explain to me how that happened. Explain it away. Tell me why we need market profile and the silver bullet and a fair value gap. I still don't know what a fair value gap is. It's like an NFT. I have 100 people explain it to me. I still don't know what an NFT is. I just know people paid a lot of money for pictures of monkeys. We're using thousands of things that we have to sit and watch all day. And this was published, postmarked 2 days before, or the day before this signal. So that would be 3 days ago, the day before Wednesday, on Tuesday. And I won't go through the rigmarole of adding up all the things and the thing. Why? How did that happen? They have a plan. And here's the best part. I know the times for tomorrow right now. There they are. There are the times for tomorrow right now. I have them. They don't change. They don't update. They don't disappear. They don't reappear. They don't come back later. They don't print 5 bars later. That's the bus schedule. That's Albuquerque. That's New Mesa. That's California. This is Vermont. This is the train to Boston. This one's going to Los Angeles. This one's going to Houston, Texas. There's the schedule for tomorrow. Why do we care? Because of what happened today. And because of what happened yesterday. And because of what happened the day before at the schedule. And what happened the day before that. They keep doing it. And I keep telling everyone about it. And no one believes me. Even after I show them week after week, year after year, everyone wants to believe that it's random. And they need their acronym. I need the ABC LMNOP program. You don't understand. I have a zero lag Jurek bar type with a inverted Velociraptor entry. Really? How's that working for you? I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still working out the kinks. Not quite there yet. All right. Let's take a look at the daily mini S&P. This is the only market and time frame that I changed the settings for. I share them, use the same ones. Here's been the plan on the daily chart for the E-mini S&P, the big boy. Now, the ES is going up until May 19th. The ES is going up until May 19th. This is a puncture on a daily time frame. We closed above the moving average, so if we were short, we were out, and then it punctured through the blue line at 59.21.22, and now we're long until on the daily time frame May 19th. All the boomers in Florida are like, oh, my 401k is feeling better again. Honey, we don't have to sell the 4th house. It's going to be all right. I love it. So we're going up on the daily time frame on the ES until May 19th. There's a puncture here. That's what that means. Where do I expect we'll be? If I look at prior structure for where there's prior swing highs and lows, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You can see there's a good shot for that one. There's some resistance right here. 1, 2, 3. We're past all the other swing highs for the most part. Yeah, so there's a very good chance that we are at 60, 61 by May 19th. And that, if you know what a pattern 5 is what I'm expecting, a pattern 5. If you're an Omnia person, this is called a dirty rapid acceleration sell dot. And we usually go up and terminate at a brand new high by the next buy signal. So we'll see if I'm right about that. Any other daily bars that we want to look at while we're here? Any other markets that we want to analyze together while we're all on the same webinar? Or are we good to go? Ethereum, ETH, USD, 4 hour. Let's look at a daily. On Ethereum, we'll look at it on the Kronos version. There's our Ethereum signal on the daily chart. Oh, la, 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 la. You looking at that, Garcia? Es mucho bueno. Los signales somos muchos bonitas. Not one lesson. Yep. It looks like a pause right here from May 12th until May 28th, a short push, and then another push down on June 1st into June 17th. That's where we're at on Ethereum right now. There is another half of this that I want to just show you real quick. You'll notice that there are horizontal lines at the close of each of the signal candles. And if you come back and put these rays here, they'll actually show you where time-based support and resistance is forming. So if you use the horizontals in addition to the verticals, and this goes for warp or for Kronos, you see we start to get a grid. And I'm just going to connect the existing signals here. Let's do that horizontal ray one more time. I missed a few signals here and then one down here. So for Ethereum, there is tremendous support, resistance rather, at 3609. And then it built a base of support between 1882 and 1797-95 area. We're presently stuck between these two lines, which are time-based support and resistance. And one of the things I like to do is I go back and I make zones where the lines are close together like that. And that's just a way of incorporating the horizontals and the verticals together. It's kind of a nice feature, I think. The other lines are stop lines, just like with Warp, they're about a ATR value and a half away. The way you control that in Kronos, it'll say dot offset multiple. So I have it set to 1 average true range value away from the candle. So we're just outside of the market noise. So is the Ethereum chart good? All of these signals out here to the future, we're covered through June, July right now. The times do not paint over, they don't move, they don't shift. De nada. I better be careful. Someone's going to deport me if I keep that up. We'll be here in the webinar and you'll hear, open up! I was kidding. I was joking. Sir, we found a frozen burrito in his freezer. You're out of here. I hope you like El Salvador. Next day. You know what would be funny? I have to play this out in my mind because if I don't, I'll have an aneurysm. You know what would be funny? The, the very next day, there would be a photo of me on the news. If you bear with me, I swear this is going to be funny. And there would be a thing that said on my forehead, he's a horrible guy. Horrible guy, frozen burritos. Pretty sure he's a wife beater. Probably fighting dogs. Fighting dogs in the ring. Gotta get him out. Thank you for letting me do that. I would have lost my mind if you didn't let me do that on the chart. All right. Guys, how do we get started? That's my guy. That's my little dog who helps me with my stress and my crazy brain. If you want to get started today, there's a couple options. If you're interested in the Ninjatrader version, we call it TachEon Warp, like time warp. TachEon is our brand for timing tools. It's a mixture of two words, tachyon with a Y, which is a theoretical particle from Star Trek that goes backwards and forwards in time, and the word eon, which means an endless amount of time. So our software moves backwards and forwards through time endlessly. And the version for NinjaTrader has a couple different options. I'll post the link to the NinjaTrader version in your GoToWebinar chat box. And for the first time in 16 years, there is a monthly lease option, subscriptions, everything's subscriptions. Can I try it for 30 days? Yeah, now you can. So you can get started, $49.95. There's an annual subscription, $29.95. You can own Warp forever and ever and ever, $59.95. This comes with free installation. We'll set up the computer program on your computer. There is, of course, a customer lounge where we have all sorts of services, including a training video archive, where you can work your way through each of the videos that we've got set up for you. Same thing for Kronos, by the way. If you're a TradingView customer, go to Kronos for TradingView. And if you click on that link, we've got all sorts of stuff available for you there as well. In addition to that, you can be supported by our Discord community. We used to have a Skype group. Now we have a Discord group. And so I would encourage you guys to be over in there and work with the customers who are helping each other. And great job, by the way, over in the Discord group. You guys are really active, and I'm super proud of how you're supporting each other and taking care of each other. That's pretty cool. And so that's part of your support package if you work with us as a Warp or a Kronos customer. Now, if we go back to trading tools and you want the TradingView version, that's called Kronos. Tom, you can only be in the group if you're a customer, because if you're not a customer, most of the time people that come in that don't have the software are pains in the ass, and they create more dissonance and noise than you can imagine. And a few times in the way distant past, you get a lot of competitors in there that are sending private messages. Hey, come over here. You want to see my scalping tool? No. So Kronos for TradingView, similar approach. I'll put that link in the GoToWebinar chat box. Can I try it? Yes. You can have a monthly subscription for just $2.95. Same perks, same support, same great stuff. and you can get that plan. You can get it for the year. If you get it for the year, you save a lot of money because it's like $3,600 for the year or $19.95 per year. That's actually probably the best value now that I think about it. And yeah, so that's what's available to get started. Let me know if you do it so I can help you get started. I'm here all the day. There is one Discord. I was looking at the general community chat. General community chat. There is one for forex traders, and no one is talking to each other. They're very sad and by themselves over there. Any questions before we wrap up here today? Okay. The market you trade is not random. People will try to tell you that it is. They want you to believe the lie. I believe looking back years from now, people will all be doing this. They'll be using data mining in some fashion. We're seeing a revolution now with AI, Pine script editors in TradingView. People are using DeepThink and Claude and Gemini and OpenAI, ChatGPT, and they're starting to see for the first time that this has always been going on, that the people who control the power never leave anything to chance and always know in the future what they're going to do. They leverage news, they leverage reports, they leverage rumors to get all of us to do the opposite thing they need to do. That's what I believe. And time is the only filter. It's the only flashlight they can't hide from. It's the only flashlight they can't hide from. So, thank you for your time here today. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. I have gratitude for you. If this isn't something you want to do, not a problem. I'm glad you came by and I'm honored that you spent some time with us here today. If it is something you're considering, I can promise you this, it is going to be the most unique experience you've ever had in the markets. It will challenge you. It will force you to question things you've been doing for years, most of the time that weren't working anyway. And in some senses, it's almost a religious experience where you just say, there's no way it's going up at that time. Boop, 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 boop. Holy cow, that's crazy. And then you'll become an entitled teenager and get mad when the signals don't work. It was supposed to go down. Yeah, they don't go down all the time. They don't go up all the time. Most of the time, you're going to feel pretty good. You'll have been prepared. You'll have analyzed your risk. You'll know where your targets are. And you won't have to sit at your computer all day like a zombie in a World War Z movie with Brad Pitt running around and zombies going, like, what is happening in this movie right now? It's really weird. You don't have to sit in that zombie state all day waiting for a signal. May the wind be at your back, blowing hard. May the sun shine upon your face. May the mountains lay low before you and the valleys rise up to meet you on your journey. Wherever you are, whatever you decide to do, I am for you. I believe in you. I am proud of you. Keep going. With us or someone else or by yourself, keep going. It's never been easier to be successful. The tools have never been more powerful. The cost of entry has never been lower. You can do this. If you had a bad day today, shake it off. Tomorrow's a new day. There are cycles, there are signals that work some days and don't work others. Shake it off. Keep moving. I know a day, a week, a month, a year from now, you're going to look back at your account and go, I did that. I did that. And if it takes just one person to say they believe in you, I believe in you. You can do it. I know you can do it. How is the TradingView version different from the other one? That's a good question, Prasad. Thank you. The TradingView version has a max number of lines of code. So TradingView cuts us off at a certain point where the basic features we can put are basically the times and then 5 times in the future on an intraday chart. The TradingView version, the Ninjatrader version, has an unlimited number of code lines available in the editor. And there's presently 33,000 plus lines of code in the Ninjatrader version. So there are more features available in the Ninjatrader version. For example, Prasad, knowing where those backward signals are, there's actually stuff in there that points that out. Where the TradingView version is pretty much going to give us the predictive times out for the next 5 signals. NinjaTrader, we can use 1 whole year of historical data. The TradingView version gives us 1 week of intraday historical data. But believe it or not, the accuracy is about the same. So the answer really comes down to which one are you using and more comfortable with. My opinion is if you can do either or, you want to probably have this one. There's just a few more things you can do with it, a few more tools in the Swiss Army knife. Let's put it that way. They both have scissors, they both have a file, they both have a toothpick, and they both have a blade. This one's got a compass. It's got an awl. It's got a leather punch. It's got a screwdriver. There's a few more things here. But if you have TradingView and you don't have the times, man, $300, that's 1 trade in the NQ. It's one trade. So, yeah. Because it's a web-based platform, Prasad, we're limited in terms of how deep we can go with the code. A lot of their processing occurs on an AWS server in the cloud. And so they throttle how far we can push. But the fact that we have predictive signals at all, it's a miracle. And it's working really well. Your question, how does it protect from unforeseen fluctuations, is flawed. I don't believe in unforeseen fluctuations. We literally spent an entire webinar together showing you an entire day's worth of signals 3 days after the times were published. Yeah. If you joined late, you missed all of that. If you watched the whole thing and still missed it, you should probably go back and watch it again, because the main point was there's nothing unforeseen. There's very little unforeseen. If you think the people who control Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse are sitting here just like us going, I wonder what the unemployment report is going to be. I wonder what Trump will do with the tariffs. If you don't think they know days, weeks, hours in advance what's coming next, then we're probably not a good fit for you. That's all I'll say about that. This is proof that what we're saying works. And if you see this and it doesn't make sense, there's probably nothing I can show you to change your mind, and that's fine. Sometimes it takes a lot of time and losing a lot of money to come back to that point, and we'll be here for you when you are. No disrespect intended, it's just some people aren't prepared for this, or they don't want to believe it. They want to believe in a world where anything can happen at any point in time. I believe in a world where banks short the housing market, bogus mortgages in play. I believe in a world where, of course, 15 out of 17 terrorists on 9/11 were Saudi Arabian, and of course, they got a $300 billion arms package, and then they're getting another billion arms package again. What are the Saudis doing with all of this weaponry? No one stops to ask. And of course, we're getting a plane. Of course. It's all one big giant boys club. And we're hacking our way in. We're writing our own invitations. We're making our own passports to see what they're likely to do next. So I appreciate you, Prasad. Thanks for asking that question. Guys, I'm going to take off. Have a great day tomorrow. Be safe. Keep your stops small and let your targets run. We'll see you next week. Congratulations to those of you coming on board. Take care. Buenas noches.